Greetings and welcome to a Friday edition of the Shotgun Start. It is March 28th. Andy, how we doing?
Brendan, I'm doing great. I gotta say, I think it's just an incredible day for this podcast, an incredible honor for a golf icon. It's great to see Big Tex, as he's been,
We tapped him.
called on this podcast for years. Big Tex finally getting the nod. He is now a honorary Texan by the state of Texas legislator. Congrats to Sergio Garcia. He is officially Big Tex now.
Officially. He's been an honorary Texan here for about 6 years on this podcast. I'm glad the state legislature down there is getting around to the important work and declaring him so officially an honorary Texan. I love it.
I've got a lot of questions based off.
Yeah. Did you mention this is Sergio Garcia? Fireballs GC tweeting it. I was a little disappointed he was in a coat and tie. I thought he might be in his Fireballs uni. Go in there just with the blazing red and yellow. He seems to wear it quite a bit. But yeah, congrats to Sergio, Texas, and everyone, Texans everywhere.
I got a question. Does this make him eligible for the U.S. Ryder Cup team?
One would have to ask. It's an interesting question. I mean, Texas sometimes fashions themselves their own country,
Them and Jefferson.
Yeah. So I don't. It does. It makes him ineligible for the Euros. Is that he's a Texan now? That we claim him, he claims it. I think he's going to Texas volleyball games more than anything else.
Withdrawing from professional golf tournaments to attend Texas football games.
That's true. Wentworth. He bailed on Wentworth to go to whatever it was, UT Alabama or something like that. I think he's now a Texan, which makes him an American, which makes him ineligible for the European Ryder Cup team. Maybe they get Rory, a former Texan, Roy Sabatini, that is, former Texan turned Euro. Maybe that's the exchange here.
Euros get Rory Sabatini.
Yes.
Americans get Sergio. I don't think that's a fair trade.
You never know. Sabo could be over there just grinding away. He just needs a chance. He's not getting a chance anymore.
Me and Sergio got to get together, chop it up about UT football. Disappointing home schedule this year.
Why do you care? Look, you're just such this nomad, this sports you care about UT football now all of a sudden?
Says the Maryland basketball fan.
Oh, God. My Terps are pumped. We got a big game tonight 5 against the Gators. Yeah, Crab 5. I love my Crab 5. Kids are all in. I'm all in. I got the Guards and the Nats opening day. Got both the NL and the AL covered for that one. So, yeah, it's great. The weather, it's supposed to be 80 here. It's Friday. The Masters cometh.
Very excited about. I'm doing I call this the spring training season for the Masters. I got the big headphones out and I'm testing them out. I have to get them ready, raring to go, make sure they're get connected to everything before we get into that media center. You need to have big headphones if you go. This is a little inside baseball here, but if you go in the Masters media center, bring your big headphones if you plan on doing any work.
It's the international sign for leave me the hell alone. Put your big headphones on. Half the time, I don't even have anything playing in them. It's just, do not come and talk to me. They're just, that's the sign.
Some people do not observe these rules, too.
No. I mean, it's just, they're hammering you. You're trying to work. Friday. Hey, we had someone the other week called it Diet Friday. As opposed to Thursday is now not Friday Junior, but apparently in office workplace emails, they're calling it Diet Friday now.
What about Friday Junior or Friday Zero?
So like Coke Zero? I can't keep up. These people can just entertain themselves with their emails however they want, but Diet Friday is now one we're calling Thursday. So
you want a little early catnip? I think I'm getting this out before this came across my desk. Getting this out there before it'll probably be out there tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, people start to tweet about this,
which would be Friday morning as of this recording.
Friday morning.
Real Friday.
Our 10-day has stretched into the start of the Masters on the weather. You ready for Monday through Thursday of weather?
Sure. I've seen people. Yeah, this is content now. People are writing articles about this.
Oh, it's gonna be out there tomorrow when it pushes into Friday. There will be, I'm not gonna name names. I guarantee though there are people that send the screenshot tweet about this. This is just some early catnip. This is the easiest catnip there is.
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
We're clear Thursday the 3rd. So next Thursday through Sunday, no rain in the forecast.
Which would be Anwa. Yes. Okay.
Monday, we've got scattered thunderstorms. High of 81. Then it looks like that brings in a front, and it's going to be cool. 71 p.m. showers on Tuesday. Then 71 partly cloudy Wednesday. 73 partly cloudy Thursday. I will say, if you get that low 70s weather, that's when you usually get a little breeze going there.
Yeah.
That's when probably Augusta National plays its best.
Again, it's March 27th of this recording.
Listen, just getting out ahead of it.
Everything's 50-50 as far as I'm concerned. It's so far along. Don't tell me until it's a day out, 2 days out. I don't need to hear about the forecast, but I am fired up for the Masters. Opening day starts today. It's just a great time of year. I'm very excited. It's Friday.
Who's your baseball team? Are you Are you Guardians? Or are you a Nationals guy? I feel like you should have to declare
They
now.
don't play in the same league. So much like the NFL, I have an AFC and an NFC. I have an AL and an NL team. I've got Morton for my Guardians. I'm watching OV. My top ranked Caps, the grade 8, is chasing Gretzky. I've got a lot of irons in the fire right now. So yeah, I'm a Gardos first. What's sad though, Andy, is I'm watching my home market, my former home market. We've got like one of the best NBA teams, right? We're gonna win 60 plus games. We're like a real contender. I don't know if we shouldn't be the favorites, but a real contender. We got a baseball team starting today that made the ALCS, won almost 100 games, Final Four. And all anyone is talking about is who's going to be the Browns, this decrepit, disgusting franchise of who's going to be the Browns quarterback. Russell Wilson's off. There's Carson Wentz. There was a rumor yesterday that Dak, there was movements that trade was ongoing in the move to acquire Dak Prescott. And that's what people want. They want garbage fed in while we have two excellent teams, reigning AL Central 100-win baseball team, or near it, and a 60-plus win NBA team. And we want to talk about who the Browns quarterback is going to be. That's what you get.
I got a great message from someone who sent me a message that was like, I know you're probably bummed that the Illini are out, but the good news is this clears the deck and allows you to focus on Bears football.
Okay. Fair. You're not going to get into the Cubs at all?
Well, we've got Kyle Tucker.
You do have that. PJ, you excited? I was worried about you. You went to Mumford and Sons last night. You're right into Mets opener. I said that's a lot of potential sad boy music into Mets opener. Like, you need a pick me up. Could be a lot of trauma.
We're just getting it out of the way early here. It's still March. Calendar hasn't turned to April yet. Kind of just making sure. Mets started 0-5 last year, and they were 2 wins away from the World Series. So get the pain out of the way early here, and we're good.
I was telling PJ that I saw Mumford and Sons twice in the year 2012. So that would be 25-year-old me saw Mumford and Sons, and 25-year-old PJ
it's a looper
is watching
situation.
Mumford and Sons.
Yeah,
time is a flat circle.
There you go.
How
is
about
any
that?
of them named Mumford?
Yes, the
singer.
Yes.
And are they his actual sons?
No, they're not.
So I kind of missed it.
They're British. Everything in England is so and so and Sons. That's the business name. So he's like, all right, I'm the singer, and you're my kids now.
You know what I'd love? I'd love for us to get some Mumfords in golf, so we could say it's Marcus's son.
There's a Brett Rumford, right? The Aussie, right? Isn't he an Aussie? But I don't know of any Mumford.
He could be Marcus's kid.
We're getting the hard-hitting stuff out of the way here early on a Friday, but it's Friday.
Marcus's wife's last name is Mulligan. It's golf adjacent.
Sure.
Wow.
Sure.
Does he like golf? Is he like fellow sad boy Noah Khan?
I don't know. I don't know where Marcus stands on golf. It's a good question. We should find that out.
Are you on a first name basis with this individual? You keep calling him Marcus. Marcus Mumford?
Marcus Mumford. That's his name.
Okay. All right. I'm glad you said you didn't have your voice. Let's get to some golf matters.
What was the crowd pleaser at Mumford and Son? Was it still what was the big song? His first big song,
Little Lion Man. Little Lion Man was
that end?
That they did no, that was early. They did the Boxer as an encore because it was in New York. So that was people got up for a little Simon and Garfunkel there.
I think they should rename it to Wee Lion Boy.
Wee Lion.
Little Lion Man. Oh. I get him and the Avett brothers all mixed up. They're all the same.
Oh, come on. That's not even the same genre. That's
literally not even
brothers, sons.
I mean,
just
the
a bunch
Avett
of white
brothers,
guys just strumming
the
along.
Avett brothers, you want to go there and just and be a real sad boy. Go sign up for an Avett Brothers concert.
I grew up on jam bands. I kind of checked out after that. After, you know, Widespread Panic and all the others, string cheese incidents, all this stuff. Then I checked out. Let's get to Masters fact of the day. I bring David Owens.
You got the book.
Work, the Masters, the making of the Masters. I'm going to bring our own Bama Bearcat put on the shelf for just this one. Let's talk about Clifford Roberts.
Put him on the bench.
On the bench. Clifford Roberts. What do we know? We know Bobby Jones, fellow co-founder of Augusta National, good player in his own right. What about Clifford Roberts? Do we know how good at golf he was?
Well, not very good at golf, right?
He ranged between a 6 and a 9 is the handicap that was reported in David Owens' great book on Clifford Roberts and the making of the Masters. But let's get into some of the quirk. He was obviously a very particular man, very specific down to the details. Roberts believed that golf was an afternoon game and that teeing off before lunch was uncivilized. His rounds invariably began within a few minutes of 1 o'clock. He and the other members of his foursome would walk up from the clubhouse to the first tee, and Roberts would ask, "Who's up?" And the response was always, "You are, Mr. Roberts." So uncivilized to play in the morning, and always within 1 o'clock, a few minutes, and he had to play first. And that was the appropriate time to play. For many years, the only golf balls Roberts used were Spalding dots. The golf shop would order 6 dozen before each season, all with Roberts' name printed on them. And he would send his caddy to the shop whenever he needed a new sleeve. When the first balls with Surlyn covers were introduced in the 60s, Roberts played around with a member who was using one of them. "They're longer than the old balls," the member said, "and you can't cut them." Roberts told his caddy to go back to the shop and return immediately with one of the pros. He said, quote, "These balls I've got are no goddamn good," he said when the pro had hurried over to see what was the matter. Roberts switched to the new balls and liked them, a change that left the golf shop with 6 dozen Spalding dots that had Clifford Roberts printed on them. "There was nothing else left to do with them," he recalls, "so I put them in my shag bag." This is good. Short time later, Roberts borrowed Kletke's shag balls to practice with. He always said that using striped range balls made him dizzy. So he uses this fella's shag bag because he's got all these Clifford Roberts printed Spalding dots. Borrows the shag bag. Roberts goes and he says, "Well, I'll be goddamned," he said as he teed one up. "These balls have my name on them." And he loaded them all back into his golf bag to use them. So all the balls he had just told to get rid of and discarded for a shag bag, he finds them, reconnected with them, and immediately puts them back into his bag. He ranged between a 6 and his 9 handicap during his best years. He had a reputation as an excellent putter, especially under pressure, but he expected his playing partners to putt well, too. Val Hastings, a member and close friend of Roberts, says, "If you were playing with Cliff, he would tell you exactly where to putt your ball. And if you didn't putt it there, he would raise hell. He would say, 'Damn it, that isn't what I told you to do.'"
See, this would be an incredible anonymous golf advice. As if somebody somebody wrote in like, what do you do with a playing partner that insists on reading your putts?
So, yeah, he was a fairly good putter. The handicap was between a 6 and a 9. I'll leave it at that. The good story about what he had to tee off and the balls that he used. So,
did we ever use like why Gene Sarazen didn't play in the first Masters? I'm reading Kurt Sampson's book, Masters.
I don't know.
And I just read this last night.
What was it?
So Gene Sarazen obviously famously won the second Masters.
Yes.
The shot heard around the world. So apparently the anti-chip back.
Yeah.
So the first Masters invitation came addressed from Clifford Roberts.
Okay.
And it was like an invitation.
Who that was, or
no, and he was like, fuck this.
Yeah. I'm tossed a piece of mail to the side.
I'm not playing in Clifford Roberts' tournament.
Had it come from Bob Jones,
so then
maybe
the next year it came from Bobby Jones.
Yeah.
So he went and played.
That's pretty good.
Other piece of, I saw this in our DMs. I apologize, I can't find it now. I just was looking for it.
Yeah.
A little follow up on the long drive competition where it was held.
I didn't mean to share this. Yeah. The old range, right?
It was the old range, which went down like the 18th hill. So played down about 150 feet.
Yes. Cascading down the,
It's like the main, like where the main walkway is.
In between 9 and 18 there. So you're crossing 2 and into 7 and
just
3.
Like plunges downhill.
Yeah.
It's basically like hitting it down 10, but further downhill.
There's an article about it. Patton had 3 tries and he walloped one, and then he just let it be. He's like, you got 2 more. He's like, nope, I'm good. 3, whatever it is, 38. I'm out. Peace. So that's your Masters fact of the day. Let's get to current matters out on the various tours. Andy, we have the event of the year is living up to the hype when you have a leaderboard with the Muscat, Nicholas Kolsertz providing the blueprint for our guy Kiz, doing part-time Sky, part-time DLF Conqueror, Tamer, Nicholas Kolsertz, 68. And the bullet, Marcus Armitage, 4 under for Muscat, Kolsertz, and Armitage. What a great leaderboard we have in Delhi at the Hero
You're
Indiana.
missing it. You got the leaders, but you're missing someone lurking.
Who's that?
This is a guy that could be perfect. DLF does not yield low scores. So, somebody that shoots between 69 and 72. This is a great option this week.
I know where you're going.
There he is. Matthew Jordan opens up 3 under 69. I'm calling it right now. He's backing this up with a 71.
All right, I love it.
He feels like
that's a good score.
A 2-round total of 140 is right in his wheelhouse.
Good score. I got a lot of intel this morning, a lot of overnight dispatches from India. We posted Design Disasters on the 17th, sort of the Mona Lisa DLF, where everybody hits it into a divot patch, and then you got to hit 100 yards upgrade to a double pin. The caddy was laughing. The caddy texted me about how God help you if you have to tend the flag on that hole. Because all of a sudden you have to pull, it's like pulling a pole vault out of the cup, and you have to run with this double pin as the guy's chipping. He said it's impossible.
There shouldn't be a big flag there. It should be blind.
Totally blind? You're just looking at a rock wall?
Yes.
Well, a lot of guys are going to, I guess, drive it because it's supposed to be helping win tomorrow into the second fairway. But then it's just it's just a minefield. There's waterfall behind it. If he landed, the guy texted me today. He said they missed by a yard, and it was 60 yards down the front. Hitting a 9-iron, 60 yards rolling back. He's like, but if you go long, you're rolling into the waterfall. It's just crazy hole. Here's a transcript I got from someone at DLF. Most weeks on tour, this is from the Caddy Barn, our favorite place. Most weeks on tour, you sit around with the caddies on tour, and you're allowed a couple minutes of divots and talking. There's got to be something extraordinary that happened on the course, because otherwise we get pretty bored of birdie and bogey talk. This week, though, it's always entertaining because it's a story of someone hitting a rock or hitting, I don't know, anything could be happening on any hole out there. There's just holes everywhere. Like the 8th hole. One guy just walked in and he has made a 10. A 10. He's piped 3 balls straight into the water because he's avoiding the hazard on the left. It's actually entertaining because I think we all love the carnage. It nearly feels like your average golf club with members who just rattle on about how bad things are out there, and we enjoy the misery. Love that. Caddies just sitting around waiting for the war stories when they're usually just have no time for listening about birdie and bogeys. And I believe it was an Aussie who made a 10 on 8. So that's where we're at, DLF. Apparently very firm and fast, wind coming, and it's only going to get more treacherous. That's our DP World Tour update.
Love that. Watch out for Marcus Armitage. Do you think, here's a question. Do you think DLF deserves a Masters invite?
The winner of the Hero Indian Open?
Yeah.
Auto exemption? It seems like it. I mean, it's a real test, right? If you can pass that, why can't you go? Why doesn't that translate to a deserving invitation, last minute invitation?
Another man lurking. Do you know who's lurking?
No.
Just 4 shots back.
Shub Sharma?
SSP. SSP Chauraisa. The battleship.
Love it.
Hanging around.
I mean, 4 shots is nothing at this course. You never know. You just got to hang. You hang on for dear life.
Listen, anything better than par or better, you're just counting your blessings every day. There's a couple years. I think SSP won this at like 2 under one year, maybe even 2 over one year. I think he won over par one.
It's only going to get harder, from what I understand, unless they soak it. At Houston on the PGA Tour,
he's got a Wikipedia.
Who's that? The Chauraisa? Of course. Yeah. Why wouldn't he? I mean,
the battleship's listed under nicknames.
There you go. Love that. We've got a lot.
I think we did this before, but his other nickname is Chip Putsia.
Great. I don't remember that. In Houston.
So, all right, he won this at.
We're going Chauraisa facts, aren't we?
He won this twice. Back-to-back years, 2016, 2017. It was at 15 and 10 under.
Okay.
I swear he won one that was like right around par.
In Houston, we have the Doak file, minimalist at heart, Toasty, running hot in Houston again. We, of course, was 1 away from a playoff last year. He's right back on top. Toasty, just an absolute fan of Tom Doak's work. He's a minimalist at heart. You know he is. He doesn't enjoy the extravagances of the American lifestyle. And no surprise to see him succeeding at Memorial Park. 5 under, 65, T1 as of this recording. He's right back in it in Houston. Love to see that.
Listen, if we could get Toasty at the Masters, it'd just be incredible.
Oh my God. That would be something. He would, he'd have to be on. He'd need to be mind his P's and Q's.
I think he would know that he had to be on his best behavior.
I mean, there's been, I guess. Let's get Toasty to Augusta.
Only way in is winning.
Speaking of, that field is husky right now. We have 93 or 94, could get to as many as 96, maybe 97. What I find interesting is Ben Griffin is just on a Cal Ripken Jr. type run. There's been a lot of press about this lately, but Griffin and Michael Kim are currently 52 and 53 in the world. Can sneak into the Masters. It cuts off after this week, of course. Ben Griffin needs a top 28. This is from Nosferatu, VC 606. Mike Kim needs a top 50 to get in. Griffin he's played every week since the Sony Open. Every week. He's apparently, I think he's 13 weeks in a row now.
He's doing it
but
for
it's
TikTok.
all to just get a Masters spot.
100,000 followers. He's still just short. He needs like 1,500 people to go follow him on TikTok.
He's 2 weeks on tour. He gets into the Masters and can show the behind the scenes life. That's going to push him over 100K.
Oh, here we go. He's over 100K. He needs the Masters is his goal to get to 125. He's at 100K exactly right now.
So it's 12. This is from PGA Tour comps. In between, when they're not tweeting about preferred lies, they give us some good facts and figures. 12th consecutive start of the season, 14th player ever in the ShotLink era to make 12 straight starts. That's 3 months of starts, nonstop, week to week, West, East, Florida, everywhere. Texas now. The last player with 12 consecutive starts on tour is Ryan Brehm. That doesn't surprise me. Most consecutive starts on tour is 16, Mark Brooks and Casey Wittenberg in 2013. So, I mean, Griffin is going to get to 12 this week, probably 13, one would assume, next week in San Antonio. And does a streak end if he's not in the Masters? How does that work? If you're eligible or you're not eligible, presumably he is only playing to try to crack this top 50 or win and get to the Masters. So presumably he takes a breather whenever it comes down from if he doesn't get in the Masters or if he gets in the Masters. So he's just riding himself.
Doing right now.
I don't know. Trying to develop new line of Valeric Cross software.
Pulled up his Instagram. It looks like he's doing some hunting.
Okay. That's good. We got Casey Wittenberg. We got Chareza. We're all over the place. But Masters Field might be a little husky. Maybe up to 96. Yeah.
Well,
what were you gonna say?
Toasty gets in.
What were you gonna say? You want to add something else?
Something came across my desk this week. I don't know if you know this. One of my favorite organizations in general is the OWGR, and why they're my favorite is obviously because they do not even entertain the net championship, the tour championship as a net event. It is stroke play. Did you know that they apply virtual cuts to no cut events?
Oh, really?
Yes. So they apply a virtual cut.
What is it? 50?
I'm not sure exactly where it cuts off, but we could easily do some research.
Okay.
But they apply a virtual cut to the no cut events. So you don't get free. You do not get free points.
I love that. Yeah,
here. So like at Century, right? You had 59 players in the field. The Eric Cole at 52 didn't get any points. No world ranking points.
Interesting. I like that. OWGR. Always scrutinized. Heavy under fire the last few years, but they're doing some things right over there.
Maybe deserves a little credit there.
On the
a little virtual. Who doesn't love a virtual cut?
The tour's not going to do it. The OWGR will. LPGA, last check-in. Charlie Hall, who has quit smoking, to great fanfare and social media discussion.
Is she going patch or vaping or
no vaping?
I'm sure we'll know.
Doesn't count. We will. Charlie Hall is 9 under 63. She's our early leader out there in Arizona, the Ford Championship. You know what they got in Arizona, Andy?
Is that like Ford cars?
I think so. Yes, it is. It's kind of an interesting.
PJ, what was that? What was Stevie's line from that Ford Championship, the old Ford Championship that Tiger beat Phil, and Tiger was a Buick guy, so the winner got the GT40, and Tiger just flipped the keys to Steve Williams, who's a big Ford guy. He told the story on the Steve Williams pod I just did, but what was his line?
So then the next year, Phil asked him, because Phil was a Ford sponsor, and Phil asked him how he liked the car, and he said, "Oh, it's good. Don't worry, you wouldn't have fit in it anyway."
God, Stevie did not like Phil. I don't think.
No, he didn't.
Remember the one that it
was very evident in that book.
Yeah.
Together We Roared. It's on sale on April 1, but it was very clear in that book that they did not. Tiger and Steve did not really care for Mr. Mickelson.
There's a great one when like Steve did something over the line and Phil had to like, well, I'm just glad I have a classy guy like Bones on my bag. And like Stevie had to apologize. I forget which comment that was. It wasn't good. It wasn't a good one. But what they got in Arizona, my Segway, jammed by Ford and Stevie, there's a lot of sun. And you know what you need to protect yourself from the sun is
especially if you're in a convertible.
Oh,
if you're in a Ford convertible.
Ford Mustang, whatever it may be. It's a Ford ad. It's an Oars and Alps ad right now. Go to oarsandalps.com.
We're not sponsored by Ford, by the way.
Not yet.
Unfortunately.
Anyways. Not yet. I mean, they're tariff-free, right? They're made here. So 25% off. Do I have that right? No, I think that's too big a number, PJ. I think it's
that's
SGS.
more than a tariff.
That's more 15% off with Shotgun 15. 15% off with Shotgun 15. Look, it's opening day. You'll be sitting in baseball stadiums. It's golf season's getting to 82 here on the weekend. I need my Oars and Alps.
You got the Masters?
This is
I'm going to have to bring my own Oars and Alps. I don't think you're going to let me use it.
People didn't believe me when I said you get schmutz everywhere. You're just spreading to and fro, drip dropping all over the place. Gotta be efficient. Go to oarsandalps.com/shotgun start. Use the code shotgun15. Look, this is chemical. They've done their research. Sunscreen's a big deal these days. There's a lot of studies out there about, some of it's just, attracting the rays, right? It may keep you from being sunburnt, but the rays are going just right under the skin. It's a different place. Don't quote me on this. I'm not a scientist, but there are not sticky, greasy, shiny, or heavily fragranced, smell like a banana or coconut. I love that about them. Just basic, by the book. They've got hydrating antioxidant sunscreen spray. This is a company developed by two women whose husbands were very active. Golfers are 250% more likely to get skin cancer. I don't mean to bring this down with a little sad boy statistic, but you're out there, you're exposed if you're a golfer. Go to oarsandalps.com/shotgun start. Use the promo code shotgun15. This is like one of our favorite sponsors. I had all this stuff before they were even a sponsor, but ecstatic that they're on board now. Shotgun15 is your promo code there. Load up. Time of year to do it. News,
they have a bunch of other stuff too.
They do, but we're emphasizing sunscreen today. Browse around. Get clean, stay protected from the sun. All sorts of stuff you can do over there. Quick news. Jim Nantz says he's going to call it his last Masters in 2036. This was already previously disclosed in a Golf Digest My Shot interview like 10 years ago. But this one was, I believe, to Michael McEwen. All Business Pete calling me. I wonder if that ad read wasn't good enough. So Michael McEwen says 2036. 2036 will be his last Masters because it's the 100 Masters. That went very viral. Sure, good. Congrats. Hopefully that happens. Elsewhere, LIV doing its own creator classic called The Duels. The Duels down in Miami at Doral. A lot of double dipping here. I don't know if the creators then get suspended, get a letter from the tour, a 1-year suspension for going to a competing tour. Some of them are, in fact, tour players. Wes Bryan, card-carrying member of the PGA Tour, is teaming up with Dustin Johnson. This is all going to be on Grant Horvat's YouTube channel. So quite a windfall for Mr. Horvat there.
How about that?
Big deal. You got Fat Perez.
Just a couple of weeks ago, he was the PGA Tour savior.
Who's that? Grant Horvat?
Grant Horvat.
I know.
Now he's putting YouTube stuff on.
I kind of like this format better. I like it a lot. I like getting the pros involved. So Sergio and George Bryan, Bubba and Luke Kwan, Joaquin and Rick Shields, Phil and Grant Horvat. I believe they've done some work together. DJ and Wes Bryan. And Cam Smith and Fat Perez are your duels. And I think it's...
How about Wes Bryan playing this? Is he going to get the LIV Tour suspension for playing as a creator?
One would think. Or is this a loophole? They have more rigorous credential qualification checking for my daughter's like ankle biter soccer 5-year-old. Like they check the ages, check the school, check the like. It's not even that rigorous. This is like, I guess he's technically. I don't want to holler about this. It's just on its face preposterous. It's like one of those people, those parents around here that have a 16-year-old in 8th grade and think it's like cool that he's beating up on kids in basketball or football. And they the gray shirt them. It's like, I guess it's fine. You're a creator by the book. Go play. He's with DJ, South Carolina boys.
I feel like this is the tour looks so silly right now because of this.
The PGA Tour.
The PGA Tour. They've put so much weight behind the Creator Classic, and
gave up Sawgrass on Wednesday of the Players Week.
They've given these creators a platform, and then they just turn around a couple weeks later, and they're all playing on LIV. And LIV did like a better job of formatting, and so far better job of promotion. Like they had like their ducks in a row. They announce it, and like a promo thing comes out that all these guys can share, and it's like it kind of makes the tour just. It's like, well, this is what happens when you get in bed with people that at the end of the day are just in it for themselves. And it also is a sign of what true independent contractors can do.
That's true. I mean, it's also a sign of the dangers of a little too much spitballing. Sometimes the spitball comes around and gets you.
Man, we sure are spitballing, aren't we, Rich?
So the tour spitballed their way into a pickle on this one. And now that the LIV's got their own Creator Classic, or the Duels, as it's called. And I just...
Well, thanks. First of all, thanks for saying I don't sound defensive.
PJ just hammering over there. Just like a kid in a candy store. Or is that Andy? Oh, it's Andy. All right. So that's news. The Duels. 4-5-25 at Trump Durrell. I kind of like the pro creator combo deal. I do.
This is ridiculous that they're doing it a month after with basically the same group
lineup. Yeah. I think we may hit a cap on the creator verse at some point.
Do you think they should cancel the next Creator Classic?
There's several of them, right? Isn't there an Eastlake one? There's one at Truist at Philly Cricket, I believe.
It's at Philly. It's in like a month. We gotta. Are these suspects going to be served?
I think we should make a formal media request to comms. Are creators being banned from the tour for competing in the LIV Creator Classic?
Do you think the creators are what eventually bring the game together? Reunification, because they can't have the creators
that's
split
what they're gonna
on
say.
The split tour. We reunified so that the Creator Classics couldn't be played banned.
Well,
that's pretty good.
I'm asking somebody.
You're looking for a real-time answer. Okay.
I'll see if we get this back.
All right. That's it for news. We're running long here. Let's get into. Can we do golf advice first, and then we got a couple mini flashbacks. We're getting chirped for not doing enough golf advice. I promise you, it's top of mind. I don't know. Should we do 2.5-hour episodes? Do golf advice? We're trying to balance it here. I have an incredible email from Tommy. This is off your Chip Beck flashlight, spotlight, flashback, whatever we want to call it last week.
Pen light
story. An incredible story.
PJ, do you even know what a laser pen is?
Yes, I know what a laser pen is.
I don't know if those still exist.
I don't know if they do or
those things were so cool in like 1997. That was like the thing.
I'm hearing no
ban.
No ban. Unsure about Wes.
Unsure.
But the others aren't PGA Tour members, so no reason to ban or penalize them in any way.
Uh-huh. All right. They got work. They got kind of worked over on this, in my opinion. I don't know, but who knows? This is a Chip Beck, Andy. This is a Chip Beck member guest story. Tommy, 40-year-old male, 2 stepkids, 0 interest in fighting, but always up for a solid verbal disagreement. As my wife and I were driving up Saturday round at Valspar in Innisbrook, I decided to torture my wife with an hour-long listen to your podcast, when to my surprise, your quick flashlight on Chip Beck came on, leading to probably the best period of listening I've had in a long time. This is so good. In December, when the flights to our winter member guests were released at, I'll leave the club out of it, I noticed a name in our championship flight that seemed oddly familiar, Chip Beck. I thought to myself, that must be a coincidence. There is no way that one of our members would be bringing in a former top 10 player in the world for our off-season member guest. But after sending some investigative texts, I was shocked to learn that my partner and I would have a distinct privilege of competing against a 4-time PGA Tour winner, Masters runner-up, and multiple-time member of the USA Ryder Cup team. However, the cluster F was just beginning. I am a somewhat competitive mid-am.
A Macolite, also.
Yes, a Macolite.
Macolite. That might be the most intimidating part of it.
Yes. I'm a somewhat competitive mid-am in Florida. My partner for this illustrious event was the most recent Florida State mid-am runner-up. Both of us carrying handicaps of plus 2.4 and plus 1.3. So some sticks, some players. At our club, we have rarely used handicap rule for our guests. If you don't have an established handicap, the guest plays to a 0.
Oh my God.
Oftentimes,
giving shots to Chip Beck.
Oh, you bet it. It was good. Oftentimes, this is just a place for the weekend hack that has never established a handicap for allowing for easy points against a team that is doomed to get crushed. However, what happens when a 4-time winner Chip Beck slips through the cracks? Well, the answer is simple. You and your partner have the privilege of giving a Ryder Cup star 2 to 3 shots in the best ball portion of the event. Now, don't get me wrong. Chip Beck is a phenomenal human being, kind as could be, and could have a full-fledged conversation with a phone pole on the other side of the highway. But the man still has game. On the second hole, Mr. 59 striped a 3-wood from 246 to about 10 feet and rolls in the eagle. I bet you they would have written about that shot in the past media for all its grandeur if he wouldn't have laid up at the Masters. So these guys are like plus 2, plus 1. He's at 246, 10 feet, rolls in the eagle. The day continued on with 5 birdies, another eagle, so 2 eagles, 5 birdies, and a double bogey for a smooth 65 on his own ball. And a team 62 that beat my partner and my 63. So they lost by a shot, even a best ball. It got within a shot. He shot 65 on his own ball. And their 63 that got beat included a hole-in-one for a net 2 by my partner.
The best is if they tied the hole. I hope they have the hole.
Chip Beck made a 2 to tie the hole.
Oh, God. I can't.
So, ace net 2.
This is honestly, this is a huge pet peeve of mine. I can't tell you, this happens all the time. This happens. If you're a plus handicap, you go in and you'll play in these events, and like the local pro will play as just a scratch. They won't keep the handicap.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a second, like this is your home course. You're the local pro.
Right.
And like you compete in like these section events. I see you like top 10ing in section events all the time, and you're competing as a scratch. Like I'm giving you shots.
So 2 good mid-hams shoot 63 best ball.
With a hole one!
And have the hole on an ace. Net 2. So Chip and his member partner go on to win the shootout, if you can believe it, in dominating fashion, leading to a picture of Chip Beck on our wall of champions for the next year. I hope you find the story as amusing as I do. Yeah, so he didn't have a question. I guess I'll add my own for a real golf advice. Did you say something?
No, this is bullshit.
Inequitable for sure.
You know what the line
seems like he was great. Nice guy. Didn't know probably that. I mean, I guess you find out quickly that you're getting shots. What do you do? Do you say something to the tournament committee? What do you say?
This is where somebody needs to say to Chip, have a little shame.
I mean, is this like JB playing the...
I said this... We had a match against the Lido Club, or Club TFE versus Lido last year.
You're
I
warming
found
up
myself
your have a little shames before the Augusta snack bar.
We got smoked, and midway through the second day, I realized what was happening. The Lido Club had a couple of their pros play in the event.
Okay.
And they played as zeros. And they played off a friend of mine's handicap who's like a +3. And they played as zeros. So they got, like, I played them in a match and I was giving 3 shots. And I'm like, wait a second. You're like 23-year-old club pros. Like, I'm a working stiff.
Yeah.
And I'm giving you shots. Like, I'm watching him hit the ball. I'm like, there's no way but this is what they do. This is, you know what? It's disrespectful to the club pros that uphold a real handicap, that some of their profession does this.
So
also, I'm going to throw this out there also. Tour pros, they're a bunch of sandbaggers. Biggest sandbaggers in the world.
Tour pros.
Okay. They insist on playing as +6s. They all play as +6s.
That's like a generally accepted.
It's such horseshit.
What do you think?
They're not +6s. They're +10s at a minimum. It's the biggest. They're the biggest sandbaggers in the world are tour pros.
I mean, but how many times is this really coming into play?
This doesn't surprise me that Chip Beck was all right playing as a scratch.
65 with a double bogey. Pretty good.
This is at my peak. I got like up to like close to a +4. And I remember I played a buddy of mine who played on the Corn Ferry Tour. And we were playing at a course in Chicago, and it was windy. It was really windy. And I played great. I shot like a 70, 2 under par. I really golfed my ball that day. And I was like, I got my ass kicked, completely ass kicked. My buddy shot 65 with a double bogey. He hit a ball out of bounds. And it was like, God, I played as good as I could. I'm like a +3 or +4 at the time. He's playing as a +6. And he beat me without the double bogey. He would have beat me by 7 shots. Like he just hit 1 shot out of bounds. Yeah. And I was thinking through my round is like, I don't know if I could have gotten much more out of my round.
The handicap system.
The handicap
when you get to the very top, like it's I think there's room for.
Also think about a tour pro. Let's say Scotty Scheffler rolls up. And what's your handicap, Brendan?
He's talked, I think it's 11 right now.
11. So we'll just call it with the index is 13.
Yeah.
If you go back and play the back tees at a 7,000-yard course, and Sky Scheffler plays as a 6, do you think you're going to beat him with 1 shot per hole?
No.
1 shot per hole?
No.
Like,
no.
What? What are we talking?
Not in any format, any game, nothing.
It's insane. Tour pros, biggest sandbaggers in the world.
Well, I mean, fortunately, they're not out there.
They're out there.
Just taking money off people left
and
right.
They do. They just go out and they dominate.
I know
Sergio's out there getting in arguments with 12 handicapped 65-year-olds in Austin.
He's an honorary Texan. I don't know if he can do that. Might need to.
Does that mean he can holster a gun?
Might mean a lot of things. I don't know. All right, so that's that one. I think you say something. You're like,
you
come
have
on.
to say that's a perfect example of have a little shame to Chip Beck. Oh, I would have given him shit the whole round.
Sounded like he was very nice.
I would have been like, so I'm giving you a shot here. So you get a shot here. How do you feel about that? This is the key. You have to shame the shit out of them.
Oh. All right, one more. Let's do one more. We got a bunch. This is a quick one. Oh, we've got so many good ones. Are breakfast holes considered ethical for handicaps? Let's get back into the handicap debate. Hey guys, big fan of the podcast. I'm a low handicap golfer with a full-time job and family to take care of on the weekends. As a result, I generally go out early in the mornings, no warm-up, and just try to figure it out as I go along. My front nine scores, unsurprisingly, tend to average about 3 to 5 strokes higher than my back nines as I loosen up and figure out the speeds of the greens. I find myself in a moral conundrum this past weekend and would like to know your guys' thoughts on the matter. I started off my round at 7 a.m. in cold, dewy conditions, played pretty poorly, going 4 over in my first 3 holes. I 3-putted the first hole from 30 feet, lost a ball OB on the second after I sliced my driver into the woods, chunked an easy greenside bunker shot to bogey the third. I managed to make a long putt for par on the fourth, rallied to finish 1 under over the last 15 holes for 75. I got a text from my wife on the back nine saying she was going to be busy and that I didn't need to rush home for prior plans we made earlier in the week. The course wasn't busy by the time I finished 18, so I thought to myself, why not go out and try the first 3 holes again and see if I can make up for my poor start. The third hole ends near the parking lot anyway, so I could walk off the green afterwards and go home. Lo and behold, I make a birdie on the first, putting from a similar spot as I did 4 hours ago. I follow that with an eagle on the par 5 second. More details. I par the third, just missing a chip that would have got me to 5 under par on my quote round. I used to shoot around even par in my college years, but now generally hover around 75 to 80 range. If I count the scores from my second go around, the 68 in parentheses would have been, or quotes, the 68 would have been my personal best by 2 shots. I'm really happy I decided to try those holes again and saw a huge improvement over my early morning efforts, but I don't know if I should post my round using these scores. I do. I hadn't swung a club for at least a week before. No, I hadn't swung a club for at least a week before this round, and I didn't warm up at all before hitting my first tee shot. But there's something in the back of my mind that says it's unfair to play part of the course twice to post a best ball score for my handicap, even if it's the first holes of the day. It should also be noted that I play this course more than anywhere else, and I'm familiar with all the hole slopes of the green, so take that for what it's worth. What are your thoughts on this? Do I post a 68 under the pretense the first 3 holes of being a warm-up and that I did have the game to shoot under par that day? Or do I have to go take my medicine, accept that I played the first 18 holes of my day in 75 shot, and that's what I should be posting? Would it have been more acceptable if I replayed the whole front 9 and took the score over the first go-round, for better or worse? Let me know what you guys think.
I don't know. I feel like you're putting this into a blender. Why do you want the 68? Why do you want to post the 68?
The reverse, the vanity. I feel like vanity handicapping is much more prevalent these days than sandbagging. I know we just got off a sandbag sermon, but I don't know if it's just the times we live in where, people, it's all about, credentials, real or fake, and showing off a number. But apparently he wants to post the 68 to get the number down. You can't post 68.
A lot of times I'm happy when I just blow up on the back nine or something and just blow up a good score. I'm like, thank God it's not going into the gin.
Yeah.
Let's look at the good news. I know the good golf's in there, but like, that's the way I would look at this. Is like, I know the good golf's in there, but thank God I played so bad at the start in an inconsequential round, and I get post 75. I know I'm swinging well.
In case you come across Chip Beck down the line, you don't have that.
Dude,
score
I can't believe Chip Beck played as a 0.
This is a pretty cut and dry one, right? You can't post like the redo 3 holes. That's just not the way it works. I'm sorry that I get your personal life conundrum where you just run out there. You got kids, you got stuff going on. You just play quickly. But the holes are the holes. You posted whatever it was 4 over, and that's what you got to do, right? I mean, you posted 75. You can't you just can't. It's cut and dry. Yeah.
Well, but also why do you want to do this? Why do you want to do this? That's what I don't get. I guess I have friends that are trying to get their handicap down, and they're like, they get mad that the handicap doesn't go down. It's like, why? What? There's no reason to want a low handicap.
Yeah. Should we do any more? Or you want to jump to flashback? What do you want to do here? We got multiple flashbacks. Or you want to call it a weekend?
I'll tell this amusing Greg Norman story.
Okay.
I was rumbling around for something else, and I found this.
Okay. Let's go. Flashback Friday.
This is a Tim Rosefort article about Greg Norman in a golf course.
Okay.
It's like one of his like notes articles. There's a bunch of stories in it. Just stumbled across this. It'd take 1 minute. 5 years ago, Greg Norman stormed off the course at the Tournament Players Club at Eagle Trace, that's in South Florida, after shooting a 77 in the third round of the Honda Classic. Do you know this story?
Yeah. He hated it, right? So, but he had to come back for something and hat in hand.
Did we already do this at some point?
I think we've done this around the PGA National.
Okay.
I think this might have been in the recut Honda flashback from a couple weeks ago.
All right, never mind then.
Eagle
we don't
Trace.
need to do this.
You want me to jump to one I prepped a little bit of?
Yeah.
I feel bad. Do you have something good you want to share from that? Or is it SI?
It had like the reason that why he might have been going back.
To design, right? You could get a cut of a design fee. TPC network. Yeah. And then he's have some quote like, I don't hold a grudge or something like that.
He goes, the quote. So he had to go back. He had to go back to TPC. He said he vowed he never was going to step foot on the golf course again.
Right.
5 years later, he has to go back. Many speculated it's because he was going to earn this design contract at TPC Sugarloaf, and he had to do it to satisfy the contract. And his quote is, sometimes you say things you shouldn't say and don't really mean. In my younger days, I might have been a little brash. Obviously, I don't hold a grudge.
Yep, definitly. That's
he's not brash now.
Doesn't hold grudges at all.
Doesn't say things that he shouldn't say. They're just like an incredible Norman quote.
Man, that Brooksy interview they did with the front, he did not. Kind of buried Norman. It's like now that we have the right leadership.
Do we read into Brooksy and Bryson not playing in the Creator?
No.
I think Bryson's protecting his own YouTube views. He's not making content for anybody else's channel.
Not giving Grant the YouTube views, maybe.
So you don't think he's come on the Friday
What are you
YouTube
proposing
channel?
here? What are you
I don't
proposing?
know. I'm just asking questions.
No. Here's another quick flashback. 3-time winner Vijay Singh. Houston just dominated the Houston Open. Won in 02, 03, 04. Set the scoring record at 22 under, I believe, in 02 at TPC Woodlands, whatever. Speaking of TPC Network. This is from 2002 article, Sports Illustrated. I'll just real quick on Vijay, but the more amusing stuff's on Shingo Katayama. In Houston, an amiable Vijay Singh got back on track. Remember Vijay Singh, that international man of mystery who has won more major championships than Phil, David Duval, Sergio, and Charles Howell combined? I love that. In 02, Charles Howell got thrown in with Sergio, David Duval, and Phil. Like that was like the quartet. And Charles Howell combined. Singh resurfaced last week at the Houston Open after 2 years of anonymous effectiveness. Since his last victory in the U.S. at the 2000 Masters, Singh has amassed 22 top 10s on the PGA Tour, yet somehow failed to win. He corrected that oversight in style at the Woodlands, blowing away a strong field with the tournament record 22 under par. His 10th Tour victory threw into sharp relief what a powerhouse he can be when his cranky putter cooperates. When he's on his game, he'll lap anyone on the field, just like Tiger, says Adam Scott. It was nice to be reminded of what Singh's virtuosity on the course. The bigger revelation was his manner away from it. One of the best kept secrets in golf is that Singh is a cut up with a biting wit. So he's humorous, fun guy. I guess that's kept a secret. But after 2 years out of the spotlight, he suddenly seems comfortable letting the public in on the joke. Following a 66 last Saturday, he ventured into enemy territory of the press room, armed only with a crooked grin. He says they asked him, you left a few out there. Where did you leave them? The holes I didn't birdie. So 68, he beats Darren Clark by 6 strokes. He wins by 6 at the Houston Open. He got a little misty-eyed, saying, my wife is always my inspiration. She supports me, but thank God I don't have to face her again after I haven't won. So he had all these runner-ups, and he just hadn't won. Said Paul Tesori, his caddy, he's a jovial fellow with his family and close friends. He says, when we get back on the private plane, we'll have a couple drinks and deal a few hands of gin. He's a fearless gambler who's played his way out of Fiji by winning big money games. So Sunday, he hit a par 5, 13th hole. He hit it 232 yards into the wind on an island green. He struck it 5 wood to 5 feet. And in parentheses, they said he missed the putt, but still, that sounds like VJ hitting it to 5 feet. Didn't matter. That shot was the same one as he hit at number 15 when he won the Masters, said Jose Maria Olazabal, his Sunday playing partner. He took the risk even though he didn't need to and pulled it off. I could have laid up and chunked it in the water and you guys would have had a ball. In truth, it was a kind of brassy play that was serving well at Augusta, where he made a reconnaissance mission a few weeks ago, reportedly shooting 63. I feel like the changes to the course, I like the changes to the course. If I drive the ball long and straight, I'm going to have a good chance at a tournament. At winning the tournament.
If you drive it long and straight, you got a good chance.
That's what they said. Long and straight works pretty well. And this was like as Augusta was really coming into the tiger proofing days. And I'm not sure who won in 2002? Was it VJ?
Might have been. 2002 wasn't Phil. It wasn't Tiger.
No, he was 04. Tiger won 02, apparently.
Tiger won 02.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So that was
I just
02.
read about that. 01
really?
And 02.
Yeah. Yep, back to back. So he was the reigning champion. And then people are riding high at saying after he wins by 6 in Houston. Elsewhere from this week,
VJ won 99 or VJ won 2000 because Tiger enjoyed that VJ had to put the jacket on him.
In
2001.
Yes.
And then was it Hootie put the jacket on
Chairman.
In 2002.
Yeah. All right, I found one other quick article from that Houston. This was like a big moment when like international players would obviously come over to the States around the Masters, but like it was still like very separate tour, right? They didn't all play the PGA Tour. So there's this big phenomenon of like, will the PGA Tour get these international guys? How often are they going to be here? They come for around the Masters, maybe the US Open, and then they're gone. So there's this long article by Austin Murphy about these international players coming to the States. And like Houston is, as you know, very American, very uniquely American. So this is Austin Murphy. Behold the lunch spread in the players' dining room of the TPC at the Woodlands, the venue of last week's Houston Open. That's what Shingo Katayama was doing the day before the opening round. Having removed the cowboy hat he favors on the course, Katayama, the charismatic 29-year-old from Tokyo, made his way through the buffet line, jerry building a kind of chicken cheeseburger before stopping dead in his tracks. In front of him was a Hindenburg-sized multi-meat, multi-cheese sandwich so vast and complex that it seemed to paralyze him. It's a submarine, a cheerful, frosted blonde waitress said in a dense Texas twang. So he's paralyzed by a sub sandwich. He didn't know what it was. Smiling politely, Katayama helped himself to a wedge of the sub and took a seat. For the next 45 minutes, through his manager interpreter, he spoke of, among other things, how he came to choose his signature hat and the special challenges he faced by many PGA Tour's international players. I don't go to Japanese restaurants over here, he said. The food tastes strange to me. He said he spends probably 50 nights in his Tokyo house with his wife and their kids. Or no kids. They don't have kids. So 50 nights only in his Tokyo house. The first week after you leave, you feel homesick, kind of depressed. But after a week, you get used to it. Katayama's countryman, Toshi Izawa, never got used to being away from home. A luminous talent who won $500,000 in only 5 appearances last year on the PGA Tour. He's nowhere to be found on the tour this season. Why? The language barrier and bad food, says Katayama. I love that he's like, I do not eat Japanese food over here. It tastes very strange. So one man's food is of course another man's gourmet, and with its courteous cars, gratis equipment, and lavish buffets, the tour for most of its members is the realization of a lifelong dream. But like a freakishly large sandwich, or like some of the big-haired, heavily made-up, surgically augmented women lining the ropes for autographs at the Woodlands, the tour can also be alienating and strange. Seated in the clubhouse in proximity to Katayama were several American pros, none of whom greeted him when he entered the room or bid him goodbye as he placed a napkin over his untouched section of the submarine and left. So he took it out of courtesy and never ate it. Some outsiders are able to assimilate, like Vijay Singh, who lives in Ponte Vedra and had just won, as we talked about. Darren Clark in Northern Ireland was there. He won by a shot over Jose Maria Olazabal of Spain. Scene's victory held significantly more cachet this spring and in the past. It has been a rough year for Houston, given Enron and Andrea Yates. So tough times in 2002. But a good one for its tournament by switching its slot from 2 weeks after the Masters. So they were 2 weeks after. That's like the Catalan zone, Zurich and that stuff. 2 weeks after the Masters to 11 days before the first major of the season, Houston attracted more of the game's top international players than usual. With so many golfers from overseas in one place, SI asked them about the pitfalls of language barriers and homesickness. Measuring out. So they talked to Miguel Angel Jimenez, who says it's hard. You don't know that many people, and you're on the road 4 or 5 weeks of the year at a stretch. He says, you're a golfer. This is what you do. He says he's never home for his son's birthday, which is always around like early May in the Masters. Olazabal, like never leaves Spain, but he does for the Houston Open and obviously around the Masters. He's unmarried, so he still lives at home with his parents. 36-year-old Olazabal, that's what you do in Spain. Says, ever since I was young, I wanted to be a professional golfer. This is Jimenez. That means travel and sacrifice. The best players are here. I want to play with the best. He travels with the month's supply of his favorite cigars, which are always dangling from his mouth. Australia's Rad Pampling, another international, never comes to the U.S. without a big backup, healthy supply of Vegemite. It's beautiful stuff. He says the only people who like it are Australians. Everybody else finds it vile. The hard thing about living over here is knowing where to go eat, says Pampling. And the servings are so large. You order dinner here and it's enough to feed an entire family. So food, a constant complaint. Servings too large. Food is bad. The Japanese, the Australians.
Nicholas Cole starts.
Yeah.
Why did you stop playing the tour? I didn't want the same Caesar salad every week.
Jimenez brings his cigars. Pamps his Vegemite. The American tradition of large portions dates back to the Fred Flintstone's car. Another time-honored U.S. custom is occasionally uncharitable treatment of foreigners. Maybe proposed in 2025. The international player who has had the roughest go of it in America is Scotsman, whom the beer-addled Yanks have delighted in calling Mrs. Doubtfire. He is received like a prodigal son, though, in Houston. After all, he graduated in 1987 from Houston Baptist, which he attended on a golf scholarship. Not all Yanks are jerks, Colin, a fan shouted at him last week. And we love you here in Houston, Colin. Those sentiments weren't shared by the press. I apparently blew off the press. He hit the range for an hour. He's like, I'll talk after I putted for an hour, and then just walked away, which everybody wrote, pissed off about. For the most part, Monty's galleries have borne him little ill will this year, aside from a brief dust-up with a spectator at the match play in La Costa. After a couple of rude comments made by an elderly fan of the Players' Championship, Montgomery 56 has been treated with civility. Should the heckling resume, however, Australia's Steve Elkington suggests that Monty adopt a remedy from Paul Hogan's School of Conflict. Colin needs to punch someone in the mouth. Then the next guy who yells something will know he's got a good chance of getting his teeth knocked in. Maybe good advice from Elkington, bad advice. Yeah. You got to punch. Like nowadays, there's no consequences, right? These guys are on the internet. They see phones, and there's these people have never been beat up in their life, and they just start shouting nonsense. But you would be in trouble. Elkington, Houston local, slept in his bed all night. Who didn't, though, was Aussie Robert Allenby.
Big shot Bob.
Who was sort of like a wise old man at this point, telling the internationals how to assimilate into America. He bought a house in the U.S., asked what his first piece of advice would be to an overseas player, said, find somewhere to base yourself, move in, and make the place as homey as possible. If you feel unsettled, your golf's going to be unsettled. Though he now lives in Windermere, Allenby rents a house at tour stops roughly 10 times a year. But then they talk about how there's different party houses. So like this week, Thomas Bjorn, Adam Scott, and Darren Clark were all sharing a house. Like these international, they're all trying to figure out the best path to assimilate into American golf. They ask him, though, would you be taking advantage of Houston's cultural opportunities? Would they consider a trip to, say, the Space Center or the Butterfly Center? He says, I don't get out, says Olazabal. I go from hotel to the course. It's a little bit sad, says Esteban Toledo of Mexico. We travel all over the world, but we don't see the world. I think you hear that pretty often, right? Like
That's their choice. They could see more.
They could. I could. But then he writes, Austin Murphy, speak for yourself, Esteban. A handful of intrepid souls planned a spicy outing for the Tuesday night of tournament week. Quote, the word is, said one U.S. pro, some of the guys are going to Treasures, a strip joint. Opting not to take in the ballet and the buff was Katayama, thank God, who had a more compelling evening planned. After dinner at a nearby seafood restaurant, Katayama plays Uno with his translator. This is apparently his thing. He blames Uno for his good rounds as bad rounds. He learned it from Joe Ozaki, younger brother of Jumbo. Joe used to take Shingo's money. Now Shingo takes mine, said his translator. Katayama failed to play Uno the night before a round earlier this season, and the next day he didn't do well. So now they play every night. He played Uno every night. Superstitious.
Oh, my God.
After sinking a birdie on the first hole en route to 68, Katayama said, that was the Uno. So every time he played well, I said because they played Uno the night before. Later in the round, an attractive blonde named Elizabeth waited for Katayama at one of the ropes, hoping for his autograph. Really, I just like his hat, she said. I think it's more than that, hat. Said her friend. Yep. The women were told the genesis of Katayama's cowboy hat. After seeing his life-size cardboard cutout of himself in a pro shop in Japan 2 years ago, Katayama thought, I have a big face. I need a hat that makes it look smaller. And that's why he wore the cowboy hat.
Wow.
Thought he had a big face. He's like, I'm just going to wear a big hat. The hat works, said the blonde. He looks great in it. And that's the end of this flashback. Just a little bit about all the international approach to trying to get used to whether it's party houses, it's traveling with your translator, it's Uno, it's food, bringing your own food, your cigars. This was sort of the talk of the tour in the early 2000s. There's a lot of players kind of bounced back and forth. Year Vijay Singh won it. All right, that does it for this flashback Friday.
To Houston.
Yeah, Monty did well though. Monty took care of himself. All right, everybody enjoy your weekends. We'll be back with you on Monday. Enjoy the Houston Open. Enjoy DLF over the weekend. We'll be back with you on Monday and marching towards the Masters. Talk to you then.